Welcome back, everyone, here to the Scuf Gaming 5K. Golden Boy alongside Bioacid, bringing you the action, and it should be a great one. We have the legendary Final Boss roster going up against Sigma. Now, I'm a big fan of Final Boss because I'm a Halo dude. I loved Halo back in the day, and, you know, that will never change. Of course, this isn't the, legendary roster that had Ogre 1, Ogre 2. I mean, obviously, and it's not Halo, yada, yada. You get the idea. But I'm excited because I get to watch Ogre 2 play some Call of Duty, and I get to watch the Halo 4 Global Championship ace. You know, I actually cleaned house a little bit here. Fun facts, by the way, Bioacid, I want to point out here. Snipe Down is actually, he has a pretty high kill death in the league. He filled in for a team. He played about 5 games. I don't know what team he filled in for, but he actually is in like the top 25, I believe, for kill death. So that's actually pretty good. I mean, of course, it was only 5 games, but Snipe Down definitely performing and showing why he's one of the best overall competitive players to ever play competitive console gaming, period.
Just FPS in general. Yeah, no, he's obviously going off to a good little start there. 3-1 with 2 captures already to his name. I'm on board with him. He's on a 5-point streak right now, making that a 6-1 as he just picks up another player top of 8 stairs. So right now, however, Final Boss are down by a flake. They've only got C to themselves there, Golden Boys, so they're going to have to try and mix it up a little bit with, as I said, just a Snipe Down currently just carrying.
Yeah, and actually Snipe Down able to connect with one player, though. He is going to get taken out. And let's actually go ahead and give some love to Huddle. Huddle, a player that really made some noise back in Black Ops 2 when he was with the Unite Gaming roster. A very talented player, young player as well. And just one of those guys that has just consistently been viewed as, you know, when he becomes old enough, he will be an absolute beast. Because if I'm correct, Ron, he's not of age, right? He's 17 or something like that, or 16. Yes.
So many good players that are under that age gap.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and you know, it is to be expected. I mean, you know, competitive Call of Duty, there are a lot of young players who compete in this, and you know, like last year, there was Scumpy was almost not allowed to compete in it. You know, and they made the 17 rule, you know, to allow 17-year-old players to compete in it. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? That there's just a lot of young, talented players. But in any case, though, Spacely, another player who I'm very familiar with here in the tri-state area scene. Spacely competed with him and against him numerous times in the local scene, and you know, of course, a very talented player, teamed with numerous teams as well, and finally finding a home here with Sigma. A very good game right now, 38-17, as Ogre 2 and the crew trying to see if they can rally the troops together. Taking a look at Spacely, he's going to get shut down. Bloods, another player who I have a history with, who I'm familiar with, you know, back in the day as well, just showing. You know, again, he's just a great, talented player. This is a great roster. But it seems like Young God TJ is slaying as well. He's 9-6 right now. Bloods is 11-1, and it feels like Final Boss just can't quite get their bearing together here.
You know, he's on an 8-point streak, finally getting shut down. The guys from Sigma did have a trip cap going there, and they were dominating Final Boss. And as you said, Final Boss just can't get their stuff together, and it was costing them. They doubled their score, 50-22, after the first quarter's gone here from the first half. And right now, this Sigma team's really showing Final Boss what they're made of, and they're just shutting these guys down every single point they're setting up at. They did finally lose a second flag, so Sigma wants to try and fight back and grab that flag. Final Boss stepping up a little bit here, but they are picking up C. If they stay alive long enough, there's a nice little kill coming out by Young God, and he just picked up the C flag for them. They are losing A, so it's a smart play there by Final Boss, Golden Boy, where they're losing one flag, picking up the other flag, and keeping the points coming in their favor to try and come back.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time here to come back here, you know, in domination. That's the thing about it, right? You would think that you're running away with a lead, but then the swing ends up happening. But as we were talking about that, it seems as if Sigma able to make a B cap happen on the other side. You do have Ace, who is going to go after C, and let's see if Huddle's going to be able to make this stop happen. Ace is going to be right around the corner. He's able to connect with that one. C is going to be neutralized. Another player there for FB pushing in. That's going to be a stop, and if I was correct, that was actually going to be Ogre 2. So a good stop there by Ogre 2. Snakebite pushing it as well. Hopefully capping C here could be in their fortune, as it is going to be 66-40. Oh, 39, excuse me. Just got shut down right before he was about to cap. Ogre 2 gets stopping. You know, it's interesting, man, because I did not expect this at all. I mean, I thought we'd see a lot closer game in the first half here. Of course, again, it is just that the first half, but I feel like Sigma just came out strong. You can't argue with the fact that Blood started things off, I believe, 11-1 at one point. I mean, those are just stats you just can't ignore.
Yeah, Bloods was going off there at the start. You know, Snipe Down as well from the side of things of Final Boss was really doing well for their team, but Bloods was just out slaying him in that regards, and he held those flakes down. Now, I'm pretty sure Final Boss are one of the teams that have qualified for the COD champs, but Sigma, not one of them?
No, it was Sigma.
Obviously,
They're not. A lot of the players aren't of age.
Yeah, so like it's just interesting to see, like you said, with that age difference, you know, and obviously when it comes down to Call of Duty or any competitive FPS, reaction time is one of those things, and everyone knows as you get older, your reaction time tends to dwindle away.
Yeah, I think, you know, these players' value after COD champs is definitely gonna shine. You know, I mean, 3 of these players actually cannot qualify for champs, right? I believe it's going to be Bloods, Huddle, and Spacely. I could be wrong on that one. TJ, not Bloods. I'm sorry. Bloods is the one that actually could, but you know, I mean, the teams are already locked down, so they're not much. He's with Elevate, so you know, I mean, I'm sorry, by the way, I'm like jumbling around here, but that's why I have Ron, because he is my anchor. But yeah, so basically, Bloods is with Elevate on this one, and you know, the thing about this roster, the thing about Sigma, this team, you know, what I like about them is they're young and explosive players, which is something that is definitely needed. And again, like I said before, these players' stock are going to rise, especially as they get older, and they're going to be sought after for a lot of these top teams.
Oh, you're exactly right. You know, as the competition grows, obviously each year we've seen the growth come out of the Call of Duty champs. Obviously, COD XP first, and then we had Call of Duty champs last year, and the one coming up this year. So it grows each year, and you know, it is dragging in that smaller age gap because they realise, okay, if I start now, 2 years time, I'll be able to qualify. You know, I'll be out of age for the competition. I'll have a better understanding of the game, be better at the game, and be able to compete there.
And they're competing with some of the best players in the world too on a regular basis. I mean, you know, these very talented players. By the way, I didn't get the score on that last one. Did you happen to get that?
It was 85 to 50.
85 to 50. What was that, 85 to 50? Okay.
It was indeed. So a 35-point lead to the Sigma team.
It's going to be a tough one to come back from. And, you know, we'll actually go ahead and stick with Final Boss going into the second side here. See what Snipe Down and the crew could do. I'm expecting big things out of them, obviously. The first side just not really working out for them. You know, looking at that last round, Bio, do you think Sigma, this is going to be an easy win for them and they're going to go into this Search and Destroy game up 1-0 in the series?
It'll come out in the first minute, I guess. You know, obviously, like you said, you can come back when it comes down to it in domination, as long as you have the time to do so. But I reckon in the first minute, we should be able to see who might be able to test one out. Now, that's not taking anything away from Final Boss. I think they've proven themselves. They've qualified, obviously, for COD champs, or for the actual US qualifier there. So they have proven that they are capable of winning matches. So we'll find out if they can do that. I was just looking through what weapons they were using. They've got 2 Vectors and 2 MTARs being rolled with. And the Vector, you know, I've seen more and more people use that recently.
It's a very versatile weapon. Versatile. That word's going to be popping up a lot. Competitive COD loves that. By the way, interesting fact here, Sigma actually won last week's 2K. So and that's the thing, right? Like, usually you just end up seeing that happen, like where, because Elevate is a team that whole squad, right? They're very well known for, you know, like splitting up, like, because it's a very interesting thing to point out, right? Because all the teams that are competing in the 5K, right? All like the pro teams, the top teams, and all that. They're competing with their rosters, but yet for some odd reason, Elevate is one of the only teams that just they play with different people all the time, and they're all playing, but they just don't play together. I don't know why that's the case, but you know, I mean, they got in the COD champs, so you know, I guess it really doesn't matter, but still very interesting thing to point out.
Play more with the team they want to compete with, obviously, to get a better understanding of how each person plays. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing, like you said. And I'm noticing a lot of the guys from Sigma are actually rolling with the trophy systems. Yeah. Now, not that many players from down here use trophies on strike zone. Maybe down there at the A flag, but not so much C or B. Like, it's interesting to see that how some players, you know, differ, and obviously in different regions, people just play the different game styles out. And if it works for you, then obviously it's going to work for you.
Well, the thing about the trophy, especially on C, is, you know, you have to expect that nade coming out from the top of the staircase. usually, and that is and that's why you would see that trophy go down here. But just want to point out here that Sigma, by the way, they did qualify for COD Champs, but they qualified with a different roster, so they're a part of that group of 8. That final boss is also a part of that qualified second for the Call of Duty Championships. Now, jumping back over to this game here, it seems like final boss not able to get their bearings together. They are going to be down by 13 points right now. And again, the Sigma roster continuing to impress. Huddle 9-3, Spacely 9-2, TJ 8-5. I mean, they're just opening up a clinic here, and final boss is the first. You know, they're the first patients.
They are, and Huddle and Spacely were both on an 8-point streak before. Obviously, you know, that goes between your captures and your kills that get that points up in that regards. But like you said, final boss just can't come back from that 35-point down there in the first half. Now a 20-point difference here in the second. We've got the final quarter left, under 2.5 minutes remaining here on Domination Strike Zone, and it just shows that this Sigma team really will be a bit of a tough nut to crack for final boss, because they're just struggling here in this Domination. So hopefully they can come back in the S&D and take it to that third game top of the Blitz. But right now, Golden Boy, I think they're going to have to rethink their strategy coming up in that next game.
Ooh, TJ, dirty two-piece there, actually picking up that kill there on Ace. But yeah, you know, you're right? They're just going to have to rethink the strategy. The thing about Domination Strike Zone, it's such a fast-paced game, and the players who thrive with SMGs, those are going to be the ones that come out on top 9 times out of 10. You know, like you had mentioned earlier, Bio, you saw 2 players rocking the MTAR and 2 with the Vector, right? Like, that just gives you an idea how this game, how this map in particular is played. And you have 3 down right now for final boss, and it seems like the Sigma squad is not slowing down by any means whatsoever. They were going for the trip cap, but they ended up giving up A, neutralization on A, and or giving up C, neutralization over on A. But that really isn't going to matter at this point, because we have about 1 minute and 17 seconds left to play. They were down by 35 in the first half, and they're down by almost 30 this time around. I think it's safe to say this is curtains for final boss on Strike Zone Dom.
Yeah, you know, it is safe to say indeed. Down to that final 60 seconds coming up in a moment. 30 points the difference here in the second half, and increasing. Thanks to, of course, Sigma with that 35-point lead they had in the first half as well. They're looking extremely strong, and heading to the S&D, they're going to feel confident heading into that after a nice lead they've put up here in this Domination. And just like you said, the 4 MTARs that Sigma are rolling with, they're really working well for them. Obviously, they're just taking out these players time and time again. And every time I look at that scoreboard, I see someone on like a 4+ point streak from the Sigma team. And it just shows, like, you know, their confidence and the way that they're playing this game type.
Yeah, they just can't be stopped. You know, and when you have the hot hand with the SMG and you're getting those good jump shots and you're coming around the corner and you're getting a good drop shot here and there, it's very hard to just counter that when a player is feeling hot. So at this point, all final boss has to think about is, all right, well, time to just rally the troops together for this next one, for the search and destroy. Slow the pace a little bit here, try and get them off guard and have them make mistakes. You know, these 4 players here on this side, I mean, Bio, I don't know if you're too familiar with the Halo scene, you know, but these 4 players on this side, Snipe Down, Snakebite, Ace, and Ogre 2, are legend. I mean, I'm almost certain you know about Ogre 2, but, you know, I mean...
Oh, well, Ogre 2 played for Immunity in Australia, I believe.
That's very right, yeah, exactly.
I used to be a Halo kid
Actually,
back in the
no, Ogre 1 played for Immunity.
It was one of the Ogres. Like,
yeah, but one of the Ogres, yeah. They both look the same. But, you know, and Ace, he's a global champion in Halo 4, and Snakebite is another very, very storied, you know, player in competitive Halo, and then Snipe Down, considered to be one of the best slayers.
That name I do know stands out. Same with the Ogre names. Like I said, I used to follow the Halo scene. I came from Halo 2 Call of Duty because...
There you go. So you know all about it then. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm preaching to the choir at this point, but I'm really sorry about that. How dare I doubt your intelligence?
Oh, you gotta, these days though, there's so many new players on the scene, you gotta think, well, do they actually know any good history, or do they just come along?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny because, you know, speaking about history, I was on CODpedia like the other day, and I was just going through like some of the stuff and just looking at a lot of the results of a lot of these events, and I'm like, man, I remember each and every one of these championship matches. I remember each of these games, like all the way dating back to the 08 Nationals with Fear and Envy, when those were the 2 big names in competitive Call of Duty. and it's just kind of wild to think how far we've come, you know, with so many great events at this point. And there are a lot of young players who are coming into the scene that just don't know. And there aren't enough people out there that can feed the knowledge, because we're going away so fast. Like, you know, I mean, and of course, as you get older, you lose your interest. But, you know, I am glad I've stuck with COD for about 10 years now. So I've been around. I feel old, but, you know.
You know, I've been here since '09. So there's, like, as I said when I was on here last time with Puckett, there's the hashtag going here in Australia called Grandpa Bio.
Yeah.
That's just the hashtag, because I've been in the scene for that long down here, and I've just helped it grow. And, you know, obviously I've done what I can, but, you know, it's just one of those things that you do see so many names come and go in that time.
That's right. I mean, without a doubt. So, Search and Destroy Warhawk is going to be coming up next. Game should be starting shortly. With that said, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, Search and Destroy will be the game type. Warhawk will be the map. Let's find out who's going to take this final boss. Will they be able to stretch a game 3, or will Sigma close this one out, ending the run of final boss? Find out in just a bit.